Mr. Albertini, I got the note that you're here. We'll be taking you next after that.
Aloha, Council. I thank you for this opportunity to speak. I first wanted to address the presentation done by Mike. When I was in Pahoa, and we all heard him, we were at that public meeting. Mike has been at that plant for a long time and run that plant. He said, when Ormat bought that plant in 2005, it was in terrible condition. That's what he said. Got it on tape, this public meeting, everybody heard it. He worked there for 15 plus years before that, before Ormat bought it. How come he didn't whistle blow? If he knew that plant was in terrible condition for 15 plus years and he said it in a public meeting, how come he never told anybody? He never told the expectant mothers. He never cared about the babies, the families. I would like him to show me even an anonymous letter that he wrote to say, hey, we're having problems at this plant. But yet he stands up here and he says in 2005 they bought it was in terrible condition. And he's echoing just what the other people said in the newspaper that bought the plant. Okay? So we have to, I'm bringing this up because it's an issue of credibility. Okay? If he didn't whistle blow and he knows in terrible condition, how can we believe him now? Okay? So bringing on that issue of credibility. He's a nice guy. It's nothing personal. I understand. We can all be bribed. No one's ever tried to bribe me. I'm sure I could be bribed. But we can all be bribed, and that's the problem with this world. So many people have been bribed. They're doing what they're doing for a paycheck. Okay? We hear a lot about public safety from this council. Let's get bigger sidewalks. Let's get crosswalks. We need public safety. But yes, we've got this toxic giant that nobody's overseen for all these years sitting in our backyard. And we have the nerve to talk about public safety? Sounds just a little bit, short-sighted. We need, like many people have said, we need broader visions. All of us do. We're all waking up to these realities. We're talking about health issues. I never thought about geothermal being the cause of Puna bumps. I don't know if you all have ever heard of Puna bumps, but Puna bumps is an indication of what goes on with almost every person who lives in Lower Puna: rashes. You get shampoos, you wash all your clothes, it's not a critter, it's a rash. And they get very severe. And as I'm talking to people in these, I'm going, have you ever thought about it coming from the geothermal? Because as I look into it and research it, rash is one of the symptoms of chemical poisoning. The immune system can't handle anymore. It starts to break out of rashes. It's like a warning. Puna's got rashes. Up the Yinging, they got rashes. I've seen it. I've lived here for a long time. Puna bumps. Okay. Then there's this whole issue of the 1 mile, 10 mile. Which is it? Is it 1 or is it 10? They dropped to 0. It was 10, and they said, oh, we'll just take that 0 away and make it 1. Harry Kim got up in a public meeting and said it's 10 miles. We hear them, we say 1 mile. So there's a lot of questions we've got. Should we proceed on? I don't say dump it, because when you dump, where are you going to dump it? I say decommission it. Decommission the plant. Okay? Solar is fabulous. I mean, I haven't paid an electric bill in over 20 years. I don't know about everybody else, but I don't pay electric bills, okay? Wind, we got ocean right out there. There's countries that use ocean and wave power that can run whole communities just with the waves. Think about what we could do if we really had a commitment to what's really alternative energy: solar, wind, and water, and the wind. Now, I'm not sure where I am in terms of if I've gotten to my IDG part, the second part of the presentation, but I heard them in Pahoa. I heard them speak. I decided after that, and I videotaped it and played it on Community Access, I decided to do a little research into it. And I find out in New Zealand, the people there say actually they've lost 137 warm ponds since the geothermal has come. They've sucked the water right out. They've lost these warm ponds. They say that yes, people are getting sick in New Zealand, but it takes time, it takes generations. You get these health things coming out, in studies, and people don't necessarily connect it right to the plants. Yes, there are health issues going around on these plants in New Zealand, but again, people have been bribed. We hear me a lot of times say, I heard in Pahoa, get the good jobs, make sure you get all the jobs for your people, make sure you get this much money for this and this much money, and I say, you know what, the world is changing, and it's not all about money now. So we've got to change with it. And, I understand, like I say, everybody can be bribed. I don't mean no disrespect, but we have to look beyond the money. and we have to look at our health in the community and the history and the footprint. Again, the council just passed a building code that has no initiative for solar. It makes solar more difficult to get. It is no initiative for alternative. Look towards Maui. At least they added a whole chapter of solar initiatives to their new building code. We can amend that. You can add it in through amendment, but it needs to happen. We need to make our commitment to clean energy, and then we won't be so desperate. You won't hear people in HPP go, but I need cheap energy, because you got solar panels all over your roof. Nobody's saying it anymore, but that hasn't been our focus. It hasn't been our emphasis, and that's why we're here again talking about geothermal, and oh, it's just the people down there, and oh, we're going to get cheap energy, and we got to change the way we're thinking. I just started the beat, am I out of time? Okay, little time. Okay, and so I think when we're thinking about building codes and these kind of issues, we've got to think about the green standard and what is safest, not what's going to bring certain people the most money. We're dealing with it in our community on all different levels. Well, this is good for these people because they make money off of it, but it's not good for the rest of us. And one of the testifiers said it so well, that when the person lights up a cigarette, it's good for them, but not good for everyone else around them. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Aloha.
RJ? Aloha.
Aloha, everybody. I want to start out by saying my father, he used to stand on the corner. He was known as the man on the corner in San Francisco. And we've seen a lot of things come in San Francisco, come and go. We've had nuclear power. We're out there. We're trying to make decisions, water issues and everything. And everybody that he made, he would have them say, repeat after me. And I want to remind everybody of this reality. We, the unwilling, who have been led by the unqualified, have been doing the unbelievable for so long, with so little. We now attempt to do the impossible with nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean that's what pervades the entire universe, is nothingness. And that is something. And the nothing, to do nothing at this point would be almost impossible. But to do something, there's an 11th step in the geothermal development checklist. You know what it's called? It's called decommission. I am so wanting you to take a step, to have the courage to understand that this is a failed experiment. That if you were looking at this from outer space and you had all the intellect in the world, for every excuse, for every front page, for every person that has come here and told you about the mutations or the lumps and the bumps. I sat, and I can't believe that Mike can say that he's a friend of this community. He needs to look in the mirror and see the cyst in his own face. If he was able to see the HD, if he was able to see all the faces that me and Sakiba had to look at, and there is no glow in our faces. We're just diseased. We're inundated, not only by this issue, but many other issues. Now, as far as the department, I'm going to switch, because I don't want to beat up Ormat, because they just need to go away. All right? There's no success there. There is only failure and potential failure, because they don't control the rain, they don't control the earthquakes, they don't control nothing. And when it's time to rock and roll, it's time to rock and roll. Now, as far as the Department of Health, I didn't expect them to come. They were not encouraged to come. There isn't anything that you can do to make them come. As a council, when it comes to the Department of Health, you seem to be impotent. I'm hoping that some of you, your attitudes change, and you be less funky and fight and demand. Not tell them in a letter that it's okay if they don't come or that they can answer these questions. Not after this many years. Now, if you can't hold their feet to the fire, then who are you? If you can't demand that they come here, if you can't write the governor, if you can't make them come here, who are you? Okay? So that's the Department of Health. I wouldn't want to come either, because the truth is a dangerous explosive. My third thing is on this Hawaiians gonna do it better than the Israelis, or they know how to do it. Forget it, Miliani. It's time to quit. It's time to promote that which you know is the right and proper boat to be in. There is no way you can say you're with the Palais Defense Fund and ignore the religious exclusions and all the things that are there that you should be fighting for, I'm holding you responsible, Miliani. I'm asking you to remember that you are Hawaiian, that you were flown here like me, that you were grown here, that you join your brothers and sisters and come up with a better mousetrap. It isn't about point fingers at Ormat. I'm looking straight at you and I'm saying you're a bigger fool than Ormat because you watched for all these years and there's no way you can do it better. The only thing you can do is not do it. And that takes a big woman, that takes a big commitment on your part to see that it is wrong to force this down our throats. You can't do it better. And my last thing, everybody remembers the Amco transmission. You know, the guy that was standing there begging his boss, hey, boss, let me fix this. I can fix this. Shut it down. Take that 11th step. Have the guts. Decommission this. And it's going to take many, many years to do that. Decommission it now. No more development. No more deals.
Yeah.